Hi there, welcome to my video on review of Mazetec, scenario-based online learning experience add-on through the Thinkific App Store. In this video, I'm going to review the Mazetec Thinkific App Store integration that is available for Thinkific course creators that can enhance and take the learning experience for your online course to the next level. First of all, before I get started, I want to quickly talk about sort of why Mazetec and sort of this, you'll see the start of a lot more apps and integrations that really offer this idea of a learning experience. So when we think about online learning traditionally, it is very sort of text-based, very passive, very one-dimensional. There's not a lot of engagement, there's not a lot of interaction, there's not a lot of momentum. And so the idea behind Mazetec and other add-ons that you'll start to see and other tools out there is that we really want to make learning an experience. So let's just take a minute and think about, what experience is and what it means to you, and sort of think about how you want to build that into your online course. How do you want your students to engage with your online course? How do you want them to experience the online course? The idea is learning isn't just learning. Learning, when it is an experience, can really be felt, it can be sensed, it can be heard. It really is multi-sensory. So with that said, let's get started. Before I kind of walk you through the different features in Mazetec and why it is a great learning experience that you can build in your online course, I want to remind you that you can find Mazetec in your App Store, Thinkific App Store, by logging into your Thinkific site. So if you see mine is similar, and then you'll want to just click on the apps here. And then it'll ask you to visit the App Store, and then to find that, you'll click on this link, and then it'll take you here to the Thinkific App Store, and you can sign in. And then once you sign in, I've already installed it, but let's just show you how you can find it. I've typed in Mazetec, and then click on that, and then you can click install. So Mazetec has free and paid plans, as with most software. We'll not go into the pricing too much today, but feel free to go to this link here and look into more about Mazetec. So with that said, let's just dive right in. The way Mazetec is structured is similar to other software. There is a menu bar here on the left, and then here is a list of your mazes. So Mazetec is short for, can be abbreviated to think about maze. And when you think about maze, like for me, when I think about maze, I think of like a corn maze or a cornfield, like a very interactive game where I kind of zip through these corn mazes and find lots of corn and lots of fields filled with corn. I haven't been to a corn maze, so that might be different now. But the idea is it is a game, and it's fun, it's interactive, it's a scenario, and it really sort of challenges your learner to sort of participate. When I think about online learning, I think about traditionally how there's a lot of PowerPoints, it's very boring, it's kind of not exciting, it's a bunch of text. And it's sort of like the idea of PowerPoint doesn't really challenge me to continue learning. So with Maze, I can have a lot more fun with learning by participating in scenarios, by adding images, and most of all, it is like a simulation or a scenario. It's fun, it's engaging, and it's interactive. So Maze has, once you log in, it'll give you a menu bar here on the left of how you can sort of set up and access your mazes. But let's just take a look at sort of how it looks like so you can sort of get a sense for it. The most important thing is that once you create these mazes, there's a great way that it's set up. The dashboard allows you to play it so that you can test it out. You can always come back to your dashboard to edit. So if there's some aspects of your maze that you don't like, the text, the images, or the interactions, you can customize it here. And then I really think the most important thing is the analytics. This is like the analytics data chart. in a world where, data is everything, knowing sort of and being able to access that data of how these different mazes are doing and how students are performing is really helpful to sort of understand the design and help you design better mazes for your students. So let's just get started. Let's take a look at the there's 4 different sample mazes so that if you ever get lost, you can use these as a sample to base your new maze on. So let's take a look at this, how a bill becomes law, so we can kind of see what makes maze stand out in terms of your Thinkific course experience for students. So the cool thing is that this player is very easy to use, and it sets up really nicely and it integrates really nicely into your Thinkific course. So I'm just going to show you what it looks like, and then later on I'll make you another video to show you how you can build a new maze and how it looks like in your Thinkific course. So the cool thing about mazes, let's just say this maze on how a bill becomes a law is my first maze or my first scenario in a course. The idea is this maze sort of walks me through different scenarios, it walks me through different situations, and it's really different than a traditional PowerPoint. It's a little bit more interactive, it's a lot more engaging, and it's really fun. So let's just show you how it works. So I'm going to start here. Let's just say, what party do I represent? Oh, and the cool thing is you can time it. So the idea is when you have a scenario that's timed, it really challenges students to think quick, challenges them to think on their feet, and it sort of gets them to just avoid this idea of overthinking and overanalyzing and just pick an answer and then understand whether you're on the right track or not. So let's just say I represent the independent party. So now my first scenario in terms of how a bill becomes a law, and now they're going to ask me, okay, if you're an independent and your national debt is 21 trillion, where do we go from here? So the idea is I'm trying to teach my students how do independent legislators and assembly members or politicians get a bill to go from starting a bill to actually passing a bill. So now my first lesson is, well, what's my first step? Well, do I write a bill or do I bring the idea up to the floor of the House? I think I want to go with bringing the idea up to the floor of the House. Uh-oh. The cool thing here is now it's stopping me from going ahead because it's saying, well, you haven't written a bill yet. How can you bring up the bill to the House of the floor? So now I know that I kind of didn't answer that correctly, so I'm going to go back and bring it up. Oh, I'm sorry. Now time's up. So as you can see, it's kind of fun. It's challenging. It's quick. And it's really interactive. So and you kind of see that here in this scenario, I have $100 and each decision costs $10. So if I don't choose the right decision, it's costing me money. And that's how I know I didn't do well on that maze. So now let's take a look at another maze. This pandemic one is kind of interesting. So in this maze, I'm going to teach my students how to decide what to do given a pandemic. And so I have 5 minutes to complete this maze. So it's cool because now I have 5 minutes to really think through and walk myself through these scenarios. So let's just take a look. And so now the cool thing is, see, it's not a little bit more different than your traditional PowerPoint. You can add emojis, you can add images, so it's a little bit more fun. And when you think about learning and what makes learning fun, it's that kind of images, it's this kind of visual sensory motives and modes that really stimulate our brain. So now, what do I want to do? The mayor has just issued a stay-at-home order. What do I do? Wait to hear the president, head for home, make a mental note, read through these choices, and I think I will head home. Great. So if you did well, then they give you some feedback, and then you can keep going along the maze. So I feel sick. I shall stay home and contact my doctor. Cool, that means I did well. Now, by sick child at home, I should keep them at home and call my medical provider. Now, someone in my house has tested positive for the COVID virus. So now what should we do? Now I'm thinking, I think I'll just keep everyone at home. So now, as I keep sort of progressing through the maze, it's giving me more and more lessons. And if I don't answer the question correctly, and if I get something wrong, then it'll give me some feedback. So let's just say Grandma wants to come over. What should my decision be? This one. Oops. So let's see. I got that wrong. So we'll have to go back. And let's just say, Grandma, stay home. Now the situation, say, okay. So now I finished the maze. I completed it, and I did it in with still 4 minutes and 48 seconds to go. So I think that's really the idea behind Mazetec Maze. It's really fun, it's engaging, you can add images, and you can really just take people through different scenarios using images, using videos, and that's just only the beginning of how many possibilities you can do to take your maze to the next level. So I would highly encourage you, if you're considering making your course more interactive and more engaging for your students, to consider adding Maze to your Thinkific App Store integration. It's a great way to make learning gamified. If you're familiar with that term, the idea of making learning like a game. Games are fun, they're educational, and they're always an opportunity for us to learn. So let me know if you have any questions about Mazetec. Give this video a like, subscribe, and then check out my other video on the Thinkific App Store integrations, and keep an eye out for the next video on how you can create your own maze and integrate that into your Thinkific online course. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.